Did you know that everyday ordinary nest leaders with way less experience than you are breaking free from the traditional model of nesting in order to regain control over their time, income, and impact through independent nest consultant, whilst you, on the other hand, are a dedicated nest leader? Lately, the titles, long hours, and the endless sacrifice just doesn't feel worth it anymore. You feel burnt out, underpaid, and invisible in a system that's squeezing more from you every year. In this video, I'll help you weigh out if it's really worth leaving your nest leadership role and break down the real pros and cons of nest consulting so that you can make an informed decision about what's next in your career. But before we dive in, make sure you know exactly how to transform your nesting expertise into income by subscribing to this channel. Why are nest leaders walking away? Nesting is considered one of the most stressful occupations in the whole world. However, the nesting system has not yet evolved to support and help nesters deal with these stresses as well as alleviate them. After a while, you reach a tipping point and you're unable to continue with that level of prolonged stress. Well-researched studies are showing that nesters are suffering from burnout syndrome, and this is characterized by emotional exhaustion and depersonalization. You're always tired and experiencing physical fatigue. Even if you rest or sleep for so many hours, you have this chronic fatigue that you're unable to shake off. The capped income and the lack of recognition is another factor that is sending nest leaders through the door. As the years advance, you want your income to reflect your expertise and what you're bringing to the table. Unfortunately, nesting has been failing to deliver in this area. After speaking to countless nest leaders, I know that many are unsatisfied with the amount of money that they make each year. And finally, a big one, missed moments with family over the years. By now, the children have already left the nest, or if you're married, your relationship is struggling because you're rarely home, and when you're home, you're never switched off enough to actually connect with your loved ones. For some, there's personal health red flags that are now showing you that it's time to slow down. Otherwise, the result is fatal. You've given the system everything. Now it's time to ask what it's giving you. Unfortunately, there's a hidden cost for staying too long. I knew for me it was time to make a change when I started dreading getting out of bed in the morning. I was always stressed and felt like I was losing myself in my job. In fact, the career that I once loved was fast turning into an enemy, and I was starting to hate nursing. How many stories do you hear every day about the thousands and thousands of nurses who are quitting nursing because it's simply no longer working for them? The truth is, in the end, the price is too high to pay. Take, for example, Betsy. She's been a nest leader for 30 years. She's dedicated her life, her sweat, her time, everything to being a nest leader, and now she's reached the point of emotional exhaustion and she's unable to continue anymore. In fact, it's become anxiety and depression. She looks back and regrets the time that she missed out on spending with her kids and her husband. And now the work environment that she's painstakingly worked to build over the years has turned into a hostile work environment with younger upper leaders who are constantly undermining her and looking over her shoulder because they do not trust the quality of her work. So what is nest consulting? It's using your clinical, leadership, or administrative expertise in order to assist healthcare or non-healthcare companies and private clients to solve their problems. You don't need another certification in order to get started. You're simply leveraging what you already know. What are the pros of nest consulting? The first and most important one is hands down flexibility and full control over your time and schedule. You get to choose your hours and can even negotiate for remote work. What would this mean for you? Would it mean being home and being present with your children and not missing out on their important milestones, or is simply being able to be there for dinner and connect with your partner? I know I hated shift work with a passion, especially having to do night duties or long 12-hour shifts, And as a nurse consultant, you get to map out the hours that work best for you, for your body, and have a routine that aligns with your health, the needs of your loved ones, and in the end, everyone gets to benefit. Now, contrast that to the fact that right now you put in excessive hours that are obviously not paid for. You get to do shift work, and maybe you even have to do night duty, and it messes up with your routine. What about the fact that you have to ask for annual leave and paid time off? Well, as a nurse consultant, you don't have to ask anyone for time off because you are your own boss. Imagine doing purpose-driven work every day. By nature of you being a human being, it's important to you that you feel as if whatever work you're doing is contributing towards a positive change in other people's lives. Unfortunately, as a nurse leader over the years, you've lost touch with that sense of purpose. As a result, you wake up dreading the day ahead, and the days are starting to feel long and endless. In fact, sometimes you're looking at your life and wondering what it is you're really doing. But in consulting, you get to make and actually see the impact of your work. How? By choosing to do work that excites you and that is aligned to your personality, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Your income potential goes up by 10 to 300% the moment you become a nurse consultant. Here's what I mean. The value of the work you do skyrockets as a nurse consultant. This is because you're simply focusing on the few things, on solving a few major problems within your industry. You're no longer dabbling in all the things that you did as a nurse leader. As a result, the value of your time goes up, and so does your income. You can charge hourly, per project, or as a retainer. And as your confidence and expertise as a consultant goes up, you get to increase your rates as well. Compare that with being in your traditional job right now. What percentage salary increase did you get this year or even last year? You can then add fuel to the fire by turning your nurse consultant business into a consulting firm, which means you bring other qualified nurses like yourself to help you do the work, and you're able to scale your operations, and hence your income goes up. You get to work with healthcare providers because you're experienced, not in spite of it, and you have recognition for your expertise. You decide what clients to work with and when, so you have full autonomy as a nurse consultant. In your job, I doubt you have that much autonomy. One of the reasons why I fell in love with nurse consulting was the fact that I had full control over the healthcare providers I was working with, and also knew that I could just fire a bad client if things were not working. Compare that to being in a traditional job where you know you're literally stuck in that environment, whether you like it or not. And the only solution would be to either speak up or change jobs. And we all know that takes away years out of our career, and it's not a good experience to go through. If you're dissatisfied, burnt out, and ready for change, and you're serious about transforming your years of valuable nursing experience into an income and a business that enables you to thrive and have full control over your time and income whilst making an impact, then book a free consultation with me. Link to my calendar is in the comments below. There's some disadvantages and cons to nurse consulting. If you have no marketing background, there is no guarantee of a paycheck at first. From the hundreds of nurse leaders I've spoken to, this is probably the biggest number one single factor that stands in their way and stops them from making a move into independent nurse consulting. You're responsible for finding and managing your clients, whereas right now in your traditional job, you know your paycheck comes without fail. You need to market yourself. In fact, it's a big learning curve around personal branding and positioning yourself. It's a huge mindset shift. You're no longer an employee, you're now a business owner. As an employee right now, you can get away with living your life in fear, procrastination, not taking hold of new opportunities, doing the same thing every day, and never pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. But as a nest consultant, your mindset has to evolve and change past that. You can no longer procrastinate and not get things done. You have to be productive, effective, and efficient. You can no longer just slack away with your work. You need to be excellent because you have a reputation to build. And if you're delivering excellent results, then your name will speak for itself, and it enables you to build a recurring relationship with clients over years or even decades. Working solo can feel like isolation if you're not part of a community. I've learned to get around this by maximizing my client-facing time and breaking up my day. So if I'm working from home, I'll still go out and work from a cafe and just be around people. I know other nest consultants who've even invested in a co-working space or a shared office. Even though there are these cons in nest consulting, I've found them to be easily solvable with strategy and the right support. Do not let these cons hold you back and keep you stuck, dissatisfied, unstimulated, burnt out in that job that you've now started dreading. But instead, use that as fuel to propel you to the next move in your career. So, is it worth it leaving your leadership role? Here are 3 questions I want you to ask yourself. Are you emotionally and physically drained? If you answered yes, these are classic symptoms of burnout syndrome, and very soon you'll simply be unable to keep going. On a day-to-day basis, this is you no longer having the capacity to care that much for your team. You feel disconnected and unable to really connect with your loved ones because your mind and your emotions are just too tired and worn out. You're no longer doing the hobbies you used to enjoy doing. In fact, fun is a foreign word to you. You feel as if your life is just passing you by. You're not making any real or tangible impact. It's almost as if you're just a shadow and you're just observing your own life and career going past, and you're feeling helpless to even do anything about it. I know this all sounds daunting, but if you answered yes, then it's time to face the truth. Second question, are you still growing where you are? If you've done all that you're able to do within your current capacity and role, and you've now hit a ceiling, there's no way for you to go upwards and forward from there, then it's time to make some hard choices. Are you satisfied with remaining stagnant and being where you are? Or would you rather grow and expand and explore new opportunities given the expertise that you've acquired over the years? Growing in our careers gives us a sense of life. It makes us want to keep on going and contributing. It gives us joy. It gives us a reason to wake up in the morning. That's how important it is to always be growing and aiming higher in your career. Third question, and I want you to answer this with all seriousness. What's the cost of staying another year where you are? Is it going to cost you your freedom? Is it going to cost you flexibility? Is it going to cost you time with your children and grandkids? Is it going to mean now you cannot travel with your retired or retiring spouse? Does it mean you have to continue spending an hour commuting to a job that you're no longer satisfied and that is no longer fulfilling to you? So what is the real and true cost of you staying in the same place? Is it going to cost you financial independence because you've been wanting to do bigger things, buy property and more, but as a nest leader, your income has been kept? So what is staying in the same place going to cost you in 1 year? If you're stuck, but you know you're meant for more, there's your answer. Remember, you're not starting from scratch. You're building on your years of nesting expertise, and you're simply transforming that into income, impact, and time freedom. I help experienced nest leaders just like you who are frustrated, burnt out, and they're ready for change go from stuck and unfulfilled to regaining control over their time, income, and making an impact through independent nest consultant, through the Nest Consultant Blueprint. And this is made up of a community of other Nest leaders just like you who are also transitioning to Nest Consulting. So if you're ready to take that step, book a free consultation with me. My calendar is in the comments or description below. What's the one thing that's holding you back and stopping you from making a change as a Nest leader? Let me know in the comments below. You've led teams, managed crisis, and changed lives. Now it's time to lead your own career. Be sure to subscribe and hit that like button.